Namaste, I am Sandhya Gurung. Welcome to Gurkha Media. A short program took place in Gurkha Bhawan, Farnborough, and Gurkha statue in Aldershot on the 1st of April 2022. Nearly 12 years ago, a British family found a scroll in their attic depicting figures and names, most prominent being the figure with 3 crossed kukris. Seeing the kukris, they made an immediate link with the Gurkhas, so they thought it was best to present the scroll to the British Gurkha Welfare Society and make the presentation to the General Secretary Chotra Rai at the Gurkha Bhawan some 12 years ago. The frame along with the other artifacts were kept in the main hall. As it so happened, one day, the chairman Major retired Tikendra Dal Dewan JP was going through the various items kept by the British Gurkha Welfare Society when he closely scrutinized the scroll and behind the frame found a short typed script explaining the existence of the scroll. The gist of this script explained that the frame which had the small legs was in fact a fire screen, designed and worked in Butchwell, St. Gallen by E.N.M., who was in Switzerland from March 1944 to October 1944, having escaped from an Italian prisoner of war camp in September 1943. The design is based on the regimental badge of the 3rd Queen Alexandra's own Gurkha Rifles, supported by the crests of the Grey family, the Scalding Ladder, and the Mumford family, the Wildcat. The lettering is as follows: Dear L. Sheen, while Charles Edward Grey and E.N.M. were captured in the Western Desert. Chieti, the Italian prisoner of war camp, where they both spent the winter of 1942. Vienna, the prisoner of war camp for the senior officers where CEG went in spring 1943. Fontello, where E.N.M. went in early summer 1943, meeting CEG there, and from where they escaped in September 1943. Switzerland, where they met again in spring 1944. It related to the friendship of CEG, i.e. Grey, and E.N.M., i.e. Mumford, their time in prison together, and escapades, and that was it. Until we received the email from Major Jai Singh, 2nd and 3rd Gurkha Rifles. Coincidentally, the British Gurkha Welfare Society shares a warm affinity with the 3rd Gurkha Rifles through the chairman, Major retired Tikendra Dal Dewan JP, and his classmate, Lieutenant Colonel retired Vikram Singh Verma, who is in the 2nd and 3rd Gurkhas, and whose father, the late Major General T.S. Verma, PVSM, commanded the battalion and was also the colonel of the regiment. Added further by an excellent link with Colonel Nitin Thapa, younger brother of Mrs. Rosie Thapa's wife, of WO2, retired Tara Chandra Thapa. Colonel Thapa commanded 3rd Gurkha Rifles and has been announced to receive the Sena Medal, awarded for such individual acts of exceptional devotion. British Gurkha Welfare Society realized the historical value this scroll carried and felt it was only appropriate to present it to the regiment where it was rightfully belonged. The chairman had discussed this with his classmate, Colonel Bikram. Suddenly, out of the blue, the chairman received an email from Major Jai of the 2nd Battalion 3rd Gurkha Rifles. That battalion was honoured to receive the scroll and was in debt to the British Gurkha Welfare Society for offering it to the regiment. He had also attached the relevant pages from the regiment's history, 1941 till 1943, which gave an insight about the battalion 2nd and 3rd Gurkhas' involvement in North Africa, and how the battalion was overrun by German tanks, and at the time how Lieutenant Colonel Grey, the commanding officer, and Captain Mumford with 200 Gurkhas became prisoners of war, and the ordeal they had to undergo. The scroll now had a life and an interesting history, and definitely a small treasure for the regiment. Coincidentally, again it so happened that Mrs. Puja Amdoksa, the wife of the commanding officer, 2nd and 3rd Gurkha Rifles, Colonel Shikant Amdoksa, was doing a master's degree at the Sussex University and was returning to India for a 2-week break, and that she would be honoured to receive the scroll on behalf of the regiment. The presentation was organized for the 1st of April 2022 at the Gurkha Bhawan. Mrs. Puja Chowdhary was received by the chairman and his wife, Mrs. Malan Dewan. They arrived at the Gurkha Bhawans to be welcomed by a few British Gurkha Welfare Society members gathered to honor this visit. The treasurer Tek Bahadur Thapa, Ramdan Rai, Chis Bahadur Gurung, Prasuram Budgami, Krishna Rai, Bir Bahadur Rai, and public relations Prakash Gurung. A short introduction followed by the chairman's short speech, which unfolded the story of the scroll.
So obviously this was meant to stay just near the cozy fireplace, and it had names like Grey and Mumford, didn't mean, but didn't mean much to us. I said, all right. And it mentioned that they were prisoner of wars in
Mrs. Puja was then driven to Aldershot for a surprise visit to the Kulba Thapa Victoria Cross's statue. She was very emotional and excited by this visit, as this was the only statue of the first Gurkha VC who hailed from her battalion, the 2nd and 3rd.
Standing here in front of the statue and actually seeing the whole story in person, because I think the statue is also very creatively made. It actually tells you the exact story that went behind Rifleman Kulbir Thapa getting this gallantry award, and definitely being being a small part, I would say, of this immensely very high performing regiment and a unit. So I'm feeling very proud, and to be able to represent the unit which is back in India. What I would say to my families and to everybody back home is like, we always remember our history. We ensure that it is always placed in a best place and a best position whatsoever, and but we need to ensure everybody from the child to the spouses to the family, we need to keep this story alive. We need to keep Rifleman Kulbir Thapa alive in our lives, and we need to keep telling these stories to the next generation, to whoever we meet, so that such a brave thing that he has done. And also, this is not because of the gallantry award was because he was helping an injured soldiers, right, on his shoulders, carrying him. So that is something which is very unique, I feel, and so I personally feel that everybody should know about it and just be very proud of it.
She too is the first, 2nd and 3rd Gurkha Rifles to visit the first VC from her regiment, another historical moment for the regiment. The visit then ended with rounds of momo in the local nearby restaurant in Aldershot. Thank you for watching Gurkha Media.